Yo, we live. You're now listening to Volume 81 of the Bucket Up Podcast. Here with your boy Ty Doyle, aka DJ Buttersauce, aka Ty Lante, aka your mom called me over to cure her hangovers. And I'm here as always with the homie, the kid JB. What's good?
Living good, man. It's the kid JB. Could have been right last week, aka Mr. Told You So. Not because I'm always right, but when I am, I'm like, shit, I told you so. Mr. Excited and happy, bro. We got a guest in the building, bro. Let's just bring him in off rip. Osahan Iribor from the Brotherhood, as I like to call it. That is the Arizona State University, man. Forks up for life. But let's bring him in to episode 81 of the pod. Osahan, welcome to the pod, bro.
What's up, fellas? Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Dude, very hyped, man. Little background for the Buckets, aka our audience. Osan and I went to the same college. I don't remember the year you graduated your undergrad. Was it 15 or 14?
I finished in 2013.
Oh, 13.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Cool. So 2013 was my junior year, and that's kind of the year I started covering you guys from the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism. And that's when I linked up with one of your homies and one of my good friends and your teammates, Tyler Solka, who starting lineman for the Devils. I think he started back in 2012 all the way through his graduating year of 15. But yeah, man, tell the Buckets kind of where you're from, where you're at now, what you're doing, and kind of how your path to ASU started.
Yeah, man. Tyler's my guy, by the way. That's my boy, Tyler Soka. I think he's just getting married, too. So shout out to Tyler.
He's the homie, dude.
Yeah. He's taking that plunge. I'm from Southern California, from Upland. Went to a high school called Upland High School. That's where I played, high school football and, started my path playing football. I actually never played football growing up. I was a basketball player. I'm still a basketball junkie. That's like my first love, my first baby. And, I just got to high school and stopped growing. So I was only like 5'10", 5'9.5". And for me, it was like, all right, what sport are you going to play? I'm passionate about sports. I wanted to play Division I sports, my whole life growing up. So I made the transition to football my freshman year, ended up playing football and just being really good, being real athletic. So, yeah, I'm IE born and raised, man.
That's sick, dude. And then, we'll touch more on your football career and past and present and later. But yeah, like I said, welcome to the pod, bro. And at this time, we do a little weekend review. So Ty, bro, what happened this weekend, man? I know you were all in the snaps with the wedding and shit.
Yeah, I've probably been the most live on Snap and Instagram as I've probably been ever, and that is definitely due to alcohol. This weekend was, a big one. We had a wedding, Katie's cousin. We got married this weekend. Shouts to her and her new husband. Hopefully, they have a nice, beautiful life together. But it was, all the homies around, were invited. So it was a nice big wedding. Some funny shit though is, people say black people run on color people time. Katie was in the wedding, so I wasn't with her. She had been there since 9 on Saturday.
Sounds like an excuse is coming. But
all right. So, I'm going, because I'm trying to figure out the perfect, outfit to go to this wedding to. So I went to the mall, I went early as shit. I wanted to sleep in, but I was like, nah, I'm gonna go early and try to check some shit out. I was at the mall for like 2 hours. I come back, I'm good. I had 3 hours before the wedding. I'm getting ready. And of course my dumb ass was like, I don't got, it only take 30 minutes to get there. If I leave like 40, 35 minutes before, I'll be fine. Of course, there's a goddamn accident right on the exit. As soon as I get on, somebody just smack dab got in a car accident. So I'm just chilling in that, and I end up like 13 minutes late to the damn wedding, and it's like already halfway through they're like doing the vows and shit. I'm like sneaking in. Katie sees me and she gives me a look like, and then like I caught them getting married. Like they did the whole pronounce you, man and wife.
Right. You're like, yo, what happened? Everyone got the highlights? They're like, yeah, they said they do. They're like,
well, no, I literally came just in time for them to be like, yeah, do you take this person? Do you take this person? I was like, all right, cool. So I saw them get married, you know.
Yeah, right. It seemed like it all went to plan, you know.
Right. But then like they did the walkout, and then Katie gave me the wildest look, and everybody started laughing in the wedding, bro. And they were like, "Yeah, dog, she definitely did the scan for you when you wasn't here." And we were like, "Damn, Ty in trouble." So yeah, so I had to make up for it a little bit, but then, you know, I had like 4 or 5 Long Island iced teas, so I wasn't feeling any of it anymore anyway.
Remorse goes away when you're drunk, bro. Fuck it.
Yeah, dude. So yeah, that was my weekend. I caught a movie. I don't know if did you catch a movie this weekend?
Yeah, I watched one on Netflix, man. I don't know if you've seen like some of the Netflix movies that have come out, but they suck.
They're all trash. Yeah.
Yeah, and the one
one
I watched this weekend was called The Perfect Date. And at this point, bro, it's not about the movies sucking that amazes me. It's about like how these movies can get greenlit in the writer's room.
Yeah.
Oh, I could tell you.
And they also like just start working on them. Like, for example, this movie is about a dude that is broke from a poor family and wants to get to a rich college. He's got the grades, but don't got the money. Has to raise the money somehow. Gets paid to go on a date for a girl that's an outcast. What do you guys think happens? He falls in love with the girl. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's how that works.
Some formulaic shit.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fam, how are they in the writer's room and they're just like, all right, Jim, what do you got? He's like, all right, why don't we get like a girl fall in love with the dude that like they didn't think they'd be in like even like each other. And they're like, yo, word, run it. Like, how do they do that shit?
That's exactly how it goes. What you just described right there.
I'm saying, bro.
Netflix throwing money at everything.
It can't take longer than that. I'm trying to be funny. Yeah, let's be real. But beyond that, I'm not trying to be funny when it comes to the shit. Like, yo, how do you guys make this? Because the movie, I called it from jump. Like 10 minutes in, I'm like, yo, bet he's gonna end up liking her because she's down to earth, and that's what it was. He was chasing like the high class girls, the high profile cars, and he found out like, oh, you know, cliche chick was not cool because she was just pretty. And then the dude with the car was not even a cool dude. He was just like insecure. So I could have wrote that shit.
You know what? I don't even get why they still do this shit. Like, why don't they just show real life? Show the dude getting with the chick who sucks, or like, you know what I mean, or the you know the girl who's like getting with the dude just for money. Like, if that shit happens in real life too, why not?
Right? They could be like, hey, aren't you gonna like have a coming of age, you know, epiphany?
Like,
nah.
I'm gonna just have kids with him and then get divorced in 15 years from now.
Yeah, he's the quarterback. He's the quarterback. That's all I care about.
They know America's not trying to see that shit. Keep it a buck.
Yeah, that's true, man. But anyway, it was called A Perfect Date, and it was not a perfect movie. So I give it a 1.5 bucket hats. Usually we rank it out of 5, bro. So 1.5. Usually if I give a movie 1 bucket hat, it's just because like I'm like, good job, you guys put a movie together, you know?
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, Netflix basically just doing all this because, you know, they get all the like stuff that people watch on Netflix is from other people, and so people starting to charge them too much for it, so they're just trying to do all their own shit, and so now they just cranking stuff out like just so they can have shit on there for people to watch. You know what I mean?
The worst shit I've ever seen was on Netflix. It was that fucking movie with Will Smith.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
You seen that shit?
Oh my god!
I'm like a movie critic. Like I'm brutal when I rate movies. So I made it through 40 minutes of that shit. That shit is trash.
Not good.
That's when I gave up on all these. I haven't seen Bird Box. I haven't wasted my time with this. I don't see none of that shit.
That's my boy at work. I tell
that shit was wild because Will Smith was like serious acting in that, and it was like the whole movie was just like wild, bro.
It's funny. My boy, I was trying to tell him about that movie, Us, the Jordan Peele movie, and he was like, "Oh, I don't like movies with messages." And I was like, "Oh,
what?
What the fuck does that shit mean?"
I was like, "Oh, well, let me tell you about this movie called Air Bud, dog. It's about a dog that plays basketball." I know. I was like, "The fuck does that mean, bro?"
Literally,
like,
I can't think of a movie that don't got any kind of message. Like you can take a message from every movie.
It's so funny.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Don't go to random houses in the fucking middle of Texas, bro. That's bro.
Like, do you like documentaries? Because there's a difference, bro.
But this dude said, I don't go to the movies to learn shit, my guy.
But yeah, dude. I watched that, dude. But then yesterday morning, I woke up went to go see the nephews Jaden and Jordan ball out at their little like 9-year-old basketball game, and they got the dub, so we cool. But then we went and got breakfast after. Went to Lolo's Chicken and Waffles at Gilbert. And they just opened up one, I guess. And bro, Osan, one of our things throughout the pod is for some reason I get horrible restaurant service. And I'm not a bad dude. I feel like I just show up, I order, and I walk out. I tip well, like I'm good. But for some reason, I have this weird vibe of like just getting slow service, poor service. I've had like altercations with waiters, and now it's like even like trickled into the ether, and now Ty gets bad service when he goes to restaurants, and he's like, man, it's ever since I've been fucking with you.
Yeah, bro, that shit trickled and rubbed on the mind.
Some secondhand shit.
Right.
It's weird as shit. So with that being said, we go to Gilbert Low Lows, right? And I was hyped because I like that spot. I got the 3-piece smothered mac and cheese and buttered corn with the red Kool Aid, and I'm hyped. But then, first of all, it took like 45 minutes for our food to come, right? And I also ordered a waffle. And when the 45 minutes or so, we still didn't see the girl. DJ had the flag down like some other dude that was working there. And he's like, who's your waitress? And DJ's like, I really don't know, man. She's been gone for so long. I forgot what she looked like. And he's like, all right, well, I'll try and find somebody. We're like, all right. So then that was, 45 minutes kind of turned into an hour. So it was more of an hour when we got our food. We got our food from somebody else, right? So we still don't know what our waitress looked like. Mm-hmm. And food came, and I don't know, man. I think it may have just been sitting under some like heat lamp because it didn't taste fresh, Mm-hmm. And both DJ and I ordered a waffle, and that shit didn't come. So then we just never saw the waitress again. You know what I'm saying? And we're like, all right, well, this is weird because now I'm out of Kool Aid. Everyone else was out of water. We were with his kids, and they're 9 years old, so they're getting impatient. And, they're more mature than I am. But they're like, Dad, can we leave? Like, what are we doing here, he's like, I don't know, man. We're waiting for the lady. And he's like, where's the lady? We don't got the answers for him, So then I told DJ, I was like, bro, if the kids weren't here, I would just walk the fuck out right now.
Yeah.
But I'm not trying to set a bad example, He's like, yeah, I know, I got you. So we wait even longer, man. Hour and 15, hour and 20, hour and 30. We there for like 2 hours, bro. And now it's getting like a little serious. And we're like, yo, this is a long ass while. And we haven't seen her. And then she finally comes with the bill, right? And it's all together. And DJ's like, oh, can you split it up? And she's like, well, how? And it was just me and my girl, and then him and his 2 sons. And what's funny is they just came from the basketball game, so they all had matching T-shirts on. And it's like, man, you couldn't tell that him and the 2 boys were together, and me and my girl, like, they all had the same fucking colored T-shirt on. So then after we asked her to go split the bill, bro, she was gone again. And instead of just going right back to the machine and bringing us back the bill, she went to go like sweep the floor and clean some dishes.
Wow.
And help other tables. So I'm still looking at DJ, looking at him like, yo, bro, all you got to do is say the word and we walking out. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, nah, man, the kids are here, blah, blah. I was like, tell the kids that like it's someone, we want a gift or some shit. And he is like, all right, give me a minute. And then like the kids got up, started playing for a little bit, like, wandering. And he's like, all right, boys, we leaving. And we just got up and walked the fuck out, man. And that's how I do it, man. I don't care. I don't give a fuck, man. That's like people are like, oh, karma, blah, blah, blah. It's like, nah, karma's coming back to her, fam. She's gonna learn that like money's priority, bro. Yeah. Especially in that job, you're supposed to flip the tables. So it's like you're supposed to get me in and out, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to hustle.
So they got me in and out. I just didn't pay shit.
That was wild, bro. I ain't never walk out on the bill, B.
Well, it's all good because I'll just never go back again.
I'm gonna be real with you though. I definitely would not be going to a Low Low Chicken and Waffles in Gilbert.
That's what I was thinking.
That's like the last location. Be like,
Okay, I understand. However,
I'm like the one in Scottsdale iffy, but I seen some niggas in there, so it's okay.
Listen, it was the basketball game was in Gilbert, You know me. I'm just trying to make some decisions quick. I hate, going from A to B. I'm just trying to get there, get my food in. I'm the low maintenance one when it comes to food. But
That's
anyway,
wild.
yeah. So shouts to the free breakfast yesterday.
There you go. The free trash breakfast. Big
Yeah.
wild.
Was the food nice at the wedding, bro?
Oh yeah, it was cool. We had they was hitting us with we were at the Wigwam, some like fancy schmancy country club. So they was hitting us with the foo little like plates where the salmon's over the bed of mashed potatoes, and it got a little bit of like the sauce you see on Chopped and shit. You know what I mean? And so like it was like that. So like I wasn't full from eating, but it tasted good.
Yeah, that's tight, dude.
What I was about to say. Oh, also I did see that movie Little. I don't know if you saw the previews for it.
Oh, with Issa.
Yeah, Issa Rae, the little girl. I think her name is Mercai, something from Blackish. And you had what's her name, Regina. I always get Regina Hall and Regina King mixed up. I think it's Regina Hall. Yeah, it was their movie. It was cool. It was a lot of child actors, and somebody told me this a while back. My homie Paige, which just was like pointing out that every child actor kind of trash. If you don't really bang with them, you know what I mean? Like even
you shouldn't be peeking that early.
No, that's the real shit.
Yeah, like even
that's a real ass person.
Yeah, she was just like because I was like, you like Stranger Things. She was like, honestly, I don't really fuck with anything where it's like kids solving adult problems because like that shit just not real. And I'm just like, you right, shit. But yeah, so there's some kid actors in there, and they're rough.
Yeah, that's like growing up watching like Three Ninjas and shit. Had me thinking like 8-year-olds could fight grown ass men. Like, that's not happening, fam.
Yeah, it had you wild. But then sometimes I appreciate because there's some child actors you like, man, they really pulled that shit off, or like, how the fuck they get Air Bud to do all this shit? But you know what I mean. But so like some of the kid acting were rough. Not the main girl. The main girl was good. Issa's cool, obviously. Regina Hall's cool. So it was a nice movie that you probably watch with your kids and be like, all right, that is what it is. Obviously I went to support the community, but I get it like 2.5 buckets out of 5.
Oh damn! All right, well, Joel was trying to go see it, so I'm not. After that,
but I don't. You gotta support. It was apparently the girl from Black is like idea, and then she produced it. So that's why like either way, it's a cool.
It's kind of a reverse of the. What's that guy's name? Tom Hanks movie, like Big.
Oh yeah, literally.
Right.
Shazam movie is like the same thing too.
Anyway, getting back to food. Yo, Osan, you live in LA right now.
Yeah.
So you did live in Tempe, of course. So what's up with the food difference? Obviously, there's way better sushi in LA because
there's way better everything.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Man, that's
the Mexican. I always see like every time on Facebook. It's like wild fucking food creation. I'm like, this is either LA or New York, and it's always LA, man.
LA's extra. Like the best food in LA is like the street food, though. That's where you see like the biggest crowds, where you see the most people, where you see all these like pop-up trucks. That's the best shit. So like you said, Mexican food, we got like a couple of taco trucks that we'll hit religiously. We're always there, always trying to eat that shit. So there's definitely Mexican food. They got all types of different shit, like you said, all those creations. But I mean, you could find Ethiopian food, Indian food. Everything is just fire out there.
Did you ever fuck with like he said, the things on Facebook, like the giant ramen bowl restaurants or anything like that?
Yeah, I fuck with all that shit.
The ramen I like Asian crazy, fam.
Yeah, I like Asian food over everything. I eat that shit every single day. So
that's tight. Yeah, I've been to San Diego, and I think that's the only part of California I've been to. But yeah, once I go to LA, dude, I want to hit up definitely the food because being from New York, obviously, I'm a pizza snob. And of course, other like Mediterranean food, shit like that, or Cuban food, I love. But I know that LA has way better food than Arizona, obviously. So, but like, fuck yeah, dude. That's the one thing living out here is definitely a shortcoming, man. Like last night, I was driving home from my broadcast. Shouts to the AZCFL, and I was like, fuck, man, I want like a sandwich, but like. I had to go to Subway. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's the shit.
Or
that franchise shit.
Yeah. pizza and like the deli shit ain't at all. That's the one big thing. Like pizza and that. But other, I didn't live in New York City. I was in upstate New York. So like I'm realizing now the only thing we did have up there was fucking pizza and Italian food because everything else is better. Sushi was good over there too.
Yeah, but anyway, man, that's tight. So how long you been living in LA?
Man, I came out here at the end of 2014.
Okay,
so
cool.
About 4 years, yeah.
And you said you're originally from Upland, California?
Yeah, Upland's in the IE, so it's like 40 minutes inland away from LA. So that's California. That's California close.
Yeah, wait, don't tell. I know what IE stands for.
Look, you ever Inland Empire? You ever seen?
Inland
Next
Empire.
Friday? You seen Next Friday?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Cucamonga, Ranch Cucamonga.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, that's my whole area.
Yo, that's what's up.
Yeah, when they win the lotto, they move to Rancho. They move like right around my block. Where
the Rancho Cucamonga Cracker Killers.
Hey,
that's awesome, shit, bro. Man. Yeah, shouts to that. I have a homie Rod that lives there. Cool. All right, so man, getting to it. When did you say you didn't start playing football till when?
Till high school.
Okay, so what made you get into it?
Just to keep it real, like I played basketball my whole life. Like I said, I played like AAU, travel ball, and I was a pretty good point guard, always athletic, all that shit. And then got into high school and broke my wrist during summer playing AAU basketball. So I couldn't play during the summer. And all the homies were like, not on Xbox Live. Everybody was at football practice. And I'm sitting at home like, fuck, I can't game with nobody. I can't do shit. And, one of the homies called me like 10 days before freshman football camp ended and just said, hey, like, you got to play. Like, everybody's playing. We want you to play. So, man, I just tried it out. And I was always just a good athlete. And so, from the moment I hopped out there, all the coaches were kind of like, damn, like, you got potential. You got some opportunity. And I remember, like, the head coach of the varsity team came up to me and said, man, if you play under me and let me coach you, I'll get you a scholarship. And nice. So I just kind of like fell into it and stuck with it. Yeah, because I love basketball, man. I'm a basketball head. I love basketball practice. I love going to the park shooting. I used to spend like 4 hours a day just out in the yard, just dribbling, working on my handles, everything. And like my whole family's like really tall. My brother's 6'3". My cousins that I live with are both 6'7". So I'm like, I'm over here thinking I'm the next Kobe. Like I'm gonna grow. I'm gonna be tall and everything. And I just didn't get those genes. I got the raw athleticism and the speed and the jumps and all that shit, but I just wasn't very tall. So I'm looking at the landscape, like just, keeping it a buck with myself. Like, all right, man, play football. This is where like this is your niche. You're not, you could be a corner and be good and do some shit. So I just started playing, went up to varsity after like my sophomore year, and I really didn't have like any plans for it. I didn't have like any real thought about like, oh, I'm gonna be good enough to play Division I or anything like that. I remember just sitting in like homeroom one morning and my coach called me and said like, come to the office, and I'm like, fuck, like did I miss homework? Did I miss school? What am I gonna get in trouble for? And I walked into his office and he handed me a phone, and it was Coach Bray from the University of Arizona, and he was like, hey, we just watched your film, we just saw your highlights, we want to offer you a scholarship. And I was like, fuck. So that was just like the beginning of it, and then from
that was junior year.
That was at the end of my sophomore year.
Oh, okay.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah. So it just started. I was like, fuck. I was like, damn. I hung up the phone. Said thank you, blah blah blah. Called my mom. I was like, yo, we on. Like,
and you can't commit until junior year, right?
Well, you can. Now they got kids committing in like 8th grade, bro. It's
I think you can renege on the commit.
Yeah, you can. It's not it's just verbal. It's verbal.
Yeah. I got you.
Yeah, until the deadline.
Oh, right.
So yeah, that was the beginning of it, and that was on like a Monday or a Tuesday, and by the end of that week, I just started getting letters. I remember ASU sent me a letter. That was an offer. Oregon sent me a letter. That was an offer. I'm like, fuck, So all these coaches were just fucking with the highlight tape and the athleticism, and it just kept going and kept going. And my junior season, I played offense and defense and was all state and one of the top receivers and defensive backs. Same as senior year. And by the time I got to the end of high school, I probably finished with like 60, 65 different scholarship offers from all the different schools and teams. I had the whole like Pac-12 of everybody messing with me. So it was pretty, kind of ramped up really fast for me, and it was kind of
that's crazy, dude. Crazy. So go back to how quick was your wrist healing from when you stopped playing basketball to when then you started playing football?
So I broke my right wrist and I was in a cast for like 6 weeks. And I remember like after the 4th week, I went back to the doctor and he had some bad news. He was like, yo, your wrist isn't healing straight. I got some bad news. We're going to have to put some dry freeze on it and I'm going to have to re-break it.
Oh,
So
shit.
So that's what threw a wrench in like the whole plan, because the plan for me was like, all right, I'm gonna heal up. You know, I have a couple weeks, blah blah blah. Then basketball season's like in the middle. You know, when you're in high school, basketball season's like in the middle of the school year. So I'm
right.
I got plenty of time to get right. Put some tape on it, whatever. Keep shooting. It's all good.
You should have acted like Booby Miles and been like, yo, who's paying you? You
That's
paying for Midland?
That's my movie.
Yo, who's paying you? I'll pay you double, fam.
That was wild, bro.
Yeah, I see that movie 100 times. But yeah, man. Yeah, so I'm sitting in the doctor's office, man, and that was the most painful experience of my whole life, to be honest. Like I've had concussions. I've messed up my labrum in a game. Nothing compared to just sitting in the doctor's office with this old ass white dude, grabbing my wrist and breaking that shit right
crazy.
there.
Yeah, whose side are you on, fam?
Yeah.
Was it your shooting hand too?
Yeah, it's my shooting hand, my right hand.
Damn.
So I had to re-break it, recast it, and I'm like, all right, so this is another 8 weeks. But with football, obviously, you can be out there doing whatever.
Yeah.
So I was casted up, and I went out there, and I was raw. I wasn't very good like my first couple months. I didn't know shit about the game. I remember my freshman year, I was playing like what's called Saturday games. I wasn't even good enough like the first 4 to 6 weeks to play on Friday with the real team. I was playing like the scrub team because I didn't know shit. So I did that, and then it just kind of went from there. But yeah, that's how the journey kind of started.
So was it like weird, kind of? Not that you didn't like football or anything like that. Was it weird being like, I love basketball, but then you end up finding out you so amazing at this other sport? Was it kind of like a weird thing where you still like love basketball, but you're like, man, but this football seems like where it's at. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's exactly how it felt. But like, to be honest, the thing about it was like with football, it took so much time and so much effort to get used to it and to learn the game and everything that I kind of almost forgot about basketball. And to be real, like I was so into, all right, let me learn about football. Let me be the best DB I could be because I'm super competitive. So I'm like, all my friends are here. I want to play with them and I want to be the best. And we had a quarterback who was highly recruited that went to play at Stanford named Josh Nunez. So, he was kind of like the chosen one. We had a good running back that went to Northwestern named Davion Fleming, one of my best friends. So, there was kind of guys who were already like the chosen one in the freshman class, and I kind of wanted to be one of those guys. So I was all in on football once I started playing, and like I didn't even really have time to take a step back and think about basketball anymore. I was just kind of all in on football and playing and being good. And yeah, like I never really went back to playing basketball to keep it 100. I never really went back to it. I just kind of stuck to football and kind of fell in love with, the aggressiveness and everything that kind of went into it.
So then that was, your end of sophomore year, going into the junior years when you started getting your offers. So then you said that junior year you didn't play basketball or senior year? Yeah,
I actually never played basketball in high school. I just kept it. Yeah, I just kept it with football because
that's crazy.
Yeah, because it took like there's a lot of work that goes into being good at anything, right? Whatever you're trying to do in life. So when football season ended, we were all training, getting ready for the next season, training with sports training facilities on the field, catching, doing routes, doing everything. So Upland High School, the high school I went to, is one of the top high schools in all of Southern California. It's really known for churning out athletes and taking guys to college, taking them to the league. It's up there with Corona Centennial, where Vontaze Burfict went, where Will Sutton went, Brandon McGee, Michael Eubanks, all those guys. So, it's a sports school, sports culture. Once you're good at Upland, everybody in the whole area knows about you, one of those type of things. So, yeah, we took it seriously, man. It was like we treated it like a 9 to 5. We were always together. We were always working in the weight room. We were on the field. We were always doing stuff with the coaches. We were always talking to scouts. So it was kind of like once I jumped into football, that was like my life, was like football, and around that shit, fit in the social life, fit in school. But it's all about, football and then trying to get to the next level.
Well, like I know, so where I'm from, the football team wasn't really that big. It was more like wrestling, lacrosse,
Mm,
kind of
Yeah.
the spring sports.
yeah.
But Cali, it's like the Cali fall weather is our spring type shit. So, when I moved out to Arizona my senior year of high school, and the Friday Night Light show just became big. I think, or not just became big, but was out west because back home they did Saturday games, Saturday afternoons.
Wait, really? Y'all
And
did?
yeah, we didn't
Hmm.
do like Friday night game. They didn't. The school didn't even have lights. You know what I'm saying? So like they
They're
had to
like
do it.
Saturday night or Saturday morning sunlight, my guy.
Yeah, and maybe because it might be cloudy, G. But so yeah, what was I gonna say? But then I moved out here. I saw how serious it was or whatever. But like, so that's kind of unique, man. You getting offers and looks and
Yeah.
recruits off like just the strength of you playing. How did it once you became like serious about it and you started getting other looks and shit? How did it become like that? Because I'm sure your friends knew of you as a basketball player,
Yeah.
and you kind of had to like shift your identity and your mentality to just be like, yeah, like you said, it's more physical. It's a different animal in itself. Was there people that, like I was saying, amongst your peers or any of your friends that was living that football life before you and still didn't get to that next level?
Oh yeah,
Uh,
yeah, definitely. I say my best friend, my homie Taj Johnson, was the opposite corner, and we were kind of inseparable. We did everything together. We went to training together. We had lunch together. We hung out, scammed on females together, everything. And we were both trying to get to the next level. And I think he only ended up with like one or two offers. And this story's gonna let you know like how the game really works. It's a business, right? So
right.
Yeah.
after junior year, he got an offer from Minnesota and committed. So we're like, cool, good, bag secured, everybody's good, right? 4 or 5 of us that are talented. All right, cool. We got our kind of next phase of life set and everything.
Yeah.
And then Minnesota's coaching staff gets fired,
Oh
and the
yeah.
whole scouting department kind of went ghost on him for like 6 months. And so he's kind of like, what's going on, blah blah, but everything's still good. I'm still committed. And he reaches out to the new coaching staff right before our senior season is about to start, and the head coach is like hella dismissive to him, kind of lets him know like, yeah, we're kind of restarting this whole recruiting process, so we're gonna rescind that offer. And so it kind
Wow.
of so it kind of threw his
A
whole
wrench.
shit
Yeah.
into limbo. And our quarterback Josh Nunez was like number 3 in the country. I was in the ESPN top 250. I was one of the top DBs in the state, in the country. Our running back was as well. So everything went well for like 3 of us. And then, my best friend, things didn't really go as well for him. And then it kind of like seeped into our personal relationship a little bit.
Oh
As
Damn.
things went on, as I kept, playing well and shit like that. And I had, like I had one of the injuries I always dealt with during athletics was like the scar tissue in my ankle, just
Mm.
from running routes all the time and being really active. That shit kind of adds up, and I had a lot of inflammation. And so I
Yeah.
would sit out practice here and there and shit and whatever. And I remember one time we were watching film about a game, and somebody catches a route on me, but I tweak my ankle a little bit, and I kind
Mhm.
of come up, and he made a comment about it in the film room about, oh, like you faking it or some shit. And I got up like nigga, who's faking what? Like nigga, you can't cover grass. What's popping? Like,
Oh
so I just
yeah.
kind of like got kind of like, so I seen that process and the reality of it, and looking back on it, it kind of like it changed our relationship. We're still
Right.
friends, we're still close, but it kind of like it changed a little bit. So that's a
That's
good
cool.
question. Yeah.
Are you guys boys today now?
Yeah, he's still one of my boys.
All right, cool.
What's up?
So when did you? All right, so now, when did you actually decide on ASU? Because you got a bunch of offers, you were saying,
Hmm.
and how did it go down? Did you do
Yeah, like
some?
what made
Yeah,
you come to ASU, bro? Like,
So my cousin that I live with now grew up in a small town in California. It's on the border of Arizona and Cali. It's called Blythe. It's like a small ass town. Ain't
that's
shit in
crazy.
it. They don't have a movie theater. They don't have a grocery store. If you want to go to the grocery store, you got to go an hour and a half into Arizona to find a Costco. So
My
it's like
homie just opened a gas station out there. My boy Rob
okay. So
does. Big on,
yes.
yeah.
So you know what I'm talking about.
I
Yeah.
swear to
So
God, yeah. Blythe,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's one of those towns where like you either get out of Blythe and go somewhere else, or you end up like a drug addict on the
That's
streets,
crazy.
bum type, like opioid crisis type shit. And so I used to go out there during summers and spend all my time with my cousin and his friends, and that was like my little Stranger Things clique. We grew up, went on adventures, poked, sleeping hobos together, all that crazy shit. And Trevor's family moved to Arizona, and my cousin was out there as well. So I'm like, already kind of had that earmarked as a place that I would want to be. I spent a lot of time there as well during the summers, and kind of knew about the state, and everything is, nice and cool out there. So ASU was always kind of on my radar as one of the schools I wanted to go to. I was really thinking about SC and UCLA just because, that's from my area. That's kind of like the Cali dream, especially SC. If you think about it, like Reggie Bush,
right,
all the Man Leonard, all those guys, that's kind of where you want to go and play. But just going through the recruiting process and kind of like, being wise to everything and understanding that, like, these coaches are treating it like a business. They're a little two-faced about it, right? You can't really take them for their word. So I was always looking for the best combination of like education, lifestyle, and playing time. That was the biggest thing for me. And so I was really thinking between like Oregon, UCLA, USC, or one of the Arizona schools. Those were kind of like my top 5. And then with UCLA, they had Rick Neuheisel as their coach, but he was kind of on the hot seat because he wasn't doing well. And they were taking like 4 corners. So I'm looking at them like, so how much do y'all really fuck with me? How much do you really love me? You're taking like 4 guys from my class, right? So I'm not trying to let somebody play me and have me sit on the bench the whole time or anything like that. So that kind of took them out of the running. Same thing with SC, just because I'm like, man, I'm good, but they're getting 5-star recruits every year. You know what I mean? So I'm like, yeah, I could go there. I could, win out my position, blah, blah, blah. But I want to make sure it's a little bit easier. So it really was between Oregon, U of A, and Arizona State. And when I went out to Arizona State, I just fell in love with the campus, with the school, with the blondes that I saw while I was out there. Right? When you go on your recruiting trip, it's like
60,000 deep.
Yeah, it's just, what's that movie with Ray Allen?
Dog.
He got game.
He got game.
Rick Fox.
He got game when you go on your recruiting trip. That is really that's the experience they try to give you. They
had you in the bed with 2 blondes.
They had me with the volleyball girls. Yeah.
That's funny, dude.
That
doesn't surprise me much.
So they take you out to dinner. You meet like a couple of the DBs, blah, 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 chop it up. And then like, hey, we're going to let you go back to your room, take a nap, do what you got to do, get dressed. We'll come pick you up at 8. We're going to this party over, blah, blah, blah. So my first experience with Arizona was going to a party at Jack Elway's house, who's still my friend to this day, John Elway's son. And
which I was at one of his parties too. Yeah,
So he had a lot. He was throwing a lot of parties back in the day, man. All on his daddy's dime. So
and everyone was like, he's skinny as shit, bro. He's the next quarterback.
yeah, exactly. So I went to, a party at his house, and it was crazy. It was like some shit I've never seen. Growing up in high school, where I grew up is kind of like suburbs, but it's really slow. It's not a whole lot to do. It's not like a fast-paced city. So I'm just seeing how crazy everything is. Everything was fun. Females everywhere. Everybody's bad. So that was one of the things that jumped out to me. And then when I spoke with Erickson, he said, look, if you commit, we won't take any other corners from your class. We're going to take one JUCO guy named Quan Lewis, and that's it. And so we kind of had like a gentleman's, deal. And I really like felt like he was genuine, which he is. He's like a genuine guy. So that was important to me, was the relationship I had with the actual head coach and shit. And so he messed with me. I really messed with him. And that was what solidified my decision to like commit to Arizona State. And then besides from that, it was just the fact that I got tired of fucking spending 3 hours a night on the phone with coaches, because you have coaches, like cold calling you, hitting you up every night, trying to get your ear, trying to talk to you for an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours.
That's so wild.
This is why you got to come to SDSU, and you got, all blah, 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 all that sales pitch shit. So it just got overwhelming after a certain point, because I'm talking to all these coaches that I see on ESPN my whole life, and I'm like, fuck, this guy's really calling me. I'm really talking to him. He's really trying to recruit me, and I got to like tell him no. So I was just like, man, let me make my decision going into senior year. We were like ranked highly in the state. We were ranked nationally. We wanted to like try to win a championship and leave our legacy at our school. And so I just committed to Arizona State, got that shit over with, and that was basically what happened.
Do you do any wild shit like on the commercials? Like, do you do like a BB gun shit and like run to the top of a hill and like wave a ASU flag?
You do the hat fake out, like,
Yeah,
oh,
nah.
Or
nah.
like you eat 30 hot dogs and you
That was-
puke, and then once you puke, it's like the ASU colors and shit.
all that crazy shit started like after that was like right after our time, right after we left like high school.
I got you.
That's part of why I had so much attention. Why guys started getting so much attention was like Max Preps, Rivals, YouTube, video, all that shit just started to
Huddle.
all that shit started to pop off before.
Well, funny story about Quan Lewis, man. He was the homie too, and I threw a house party one time, and he was over there, and we played a game of bags or cornhole, and he smoked me, fam. And I was like, are you good at everything? Like, what the fuck, bro? But he was cool as shit though.
Yeah,
And then
that's the homie.
he ended up on the practice squad of the Titans, right?
And the Jets, we call him crackhead. He had crackhead speed. He's one of the fastest.
That's tight, bro.
Fastest people I've ever seen. Him and my homie Devron Carr were for sure like the two fastest.
So, dude, amongst the other dudes in your class, was Adoree Jackson in there, or he a couple years after you?
I think he was. He might have been there like as a freshman when I was a senior.
But you played alongside Marcus Peters, right? Or he was.
Yeah.
He 2012.
Hey,
Washington.
that's wild. Was he as wild then as he is now?
Marcus Peters shut down Jalen. Keep it a buck.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, there was that one game though that Jalen got the best of him though when it was in Washington. There was a specific play where Marcus was clapping his hands at him, right? And then Jalen like gave him a little jello and then got a touchdown on the slant, like in the red zone. But maybe the other 3 years or other 2 years Jalen was with them, he got shut down.
Yeah, that's how it goes. It's a battle. But yeah, when Washington came to play us, he did his thing. Marcus did his thing.
Yeah, I bet that. Who else? All right, so other players you probably play against Ty Montgomery, right? Yeah. Brandon Cooks,
speedster.
Keenan Allen. So Keenan Allen, where did he go? Because I didn't know that.
Keenan Allen went to Cal.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So him and Marvin Jones I'd probably say like the two best receivers I played against. You know who Marvin Jones is?
Yeah, on the Lions, right?
Yeah. So he's from my area. Me and him know each other from high school. He went to Etiwanda, and my first battle with him was in high school. So I already knew he was a dog. I already knew he was good. And coming into the game, he was talking hella shit like to the media, everything. Like, can nobody guard me? I mean, it was like week 6 into the season. I think he had 1,000 yards already. Blah blah blah.
Yeah,
that was the game where I kind of like made my name for myself when I played up against him. And I kind of like, locked him up. And then on the other side, I had like 2 touchdowns. So I played really well.
Nice.
And he showed me love. We showed each other love. And so me and him still kind of cool to this day. But yeah, him and Keenan Allen for sure, I'd say is the best receiver I played against.
Yeah, I believe we're running some Chris routes.
Yeah. He's smooth.
That's crazy, dude. And then what about what was his name? So then like playing against Jalen in practice though, like what kind of energy is that, dude? Like, do you go 100%? Like, or is there like a fear of injury or some shit like that? Like, how's that go down?
Yeah, you go 100% every rep. And
I got you.
You got the eye in the sky. Everything you do at practice is recorded. And, we watch film. They take apart every single play for technique, offense, defense. Sometimes we watch film together because it's all about obviously getting better and all that shit. So in practice, especially during one-on-ones, me and Jalen used to go at it. We used to go at each other the whole time, especially during camp when we went up to Camp Tonazona, where there's no cell phones, there's no nothing. It's just 2-a-days. Meetings start at 6 a.m. You don't get back to your bed till 9 p.m. Wake up at 5 a.m. Right? You do that shit for like 20 days. So
damn,
that's just the grind right before the season. And going into senior year, that's when we both kind of like. I would give Jalen credit for like helping me take my game to the next level. It was because I had to bring it against him every single day, and he was dogging everybody but me. And I think after one of his first practices, he, kind of showed love, showed respect, and said, yeah, that's the best corner I've played against. It's kind of like a welcome in to college football because I was there for 3 years. I played with Omar Bolden. I played with a lot of guys who ended up playing in the league and were just, had the right mindset about working hard and getting better. So me and Jalen was kind of like iron sharpening iron. We were both going at each other all practice every day, trying to get better.
That's tight, dude. I had talking to Tyler, the homie Soka. He was saying that like out of all the schools you played, Oregon is like the fastest. Like they're not the biggest dudes, but like for some reason they're just conditioning. It's crazy, and those dudes were just like fast as shit, and also never get tired.
It's that offense. They run
Yeah.
that like fast pace when they had Chip.
So I've gone to a couple different stadiums. I can't really name the name of them, but I've been to Washington, the Huskies Stadium. I've gone to of course, Sun Devil, and then Washington State, or what is it called in
Pullman.
Yeah, Pullman. But what was the craziest like crowd you've heard?
Utah.
Surprise.
Utah, bro.
Let's talk about it.
Oh, nah.
I want to hear about it. Messi, Jesse zone.
Yeah. So all that Westbrook shit you've been hearing, that's Utah.
Oh, we knew.
Yeah, but I guess we figured it out. That was the most racist crowd I've ever been around.
Really?
And I think it's just like, I don't think there's a lot of black people in Utah. So
bro, there's like less than 1%.
Yeah, and that's what it comes down to. It's just like the cultural thing. So they were throwing shit at Vontaze, throwing shit at Shelly, throwing shit at Brandon, making monkey noise, everything you could think of when we were there. But like, Vontaze and them, they're from the hood. They don't play with that shit. So they're giving it back to them. Then old gang saying, fuck you, I'll fuck your wife. Everything was getting crazy. So I said Utah was like the craziest, one of the craziest crowds, and I didn't expect them to be. I expected them to just be some like some Mormons.
And it's crazy.
Yeah, they just like happy that they got a team and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so like,
was there black? Was there black dudes on Utah?
A lot, yeah.
I don't understand that. Like, I'm like, I guess if Utah's the only one that came to knock it, I'm just like, hey, I guess I'm going to Utah. But like, you know what I mean? Like, how you like any other school? I'm probably picking that school over the school. Yeah. Especially first game, I see motherfuckers like doing racial slurs. I'm like, hey, I got math with you, fam. You know what I mean?
So is it real racist or is it like selective, like in the heat?
Even
that's
still,
I can't. But that's the weird thing about it. It's because they show love to their team. They truly love their team. They love their players. So it's a weird.
Nah, they're not about to. They're not about to. I'm not racist. I got a black friend, me, bro. I'm out. Hell nah. I'm like, yo, nah, bro. I'm about to hit these transfers fucking letters real quick. Hell no.
But that's I mean, that's an essence of racism in itself, though. Like categorizing, being like, there's only a certain type of black people I like. And
right? Like, no, you're one of the good ones.
Yeah.
Like, hell nah.
You've heard that.
Yeah, it don't work like that, fam.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, well, that's wild because we've, as I've definitely progressed as, an audience, a spectator of sports, I've kind of dialed it down with like, talking shit to players and stuff like that. I never really did from a college aspect. I will say like some of the games where you guys lost, it's a different feeling from when you watch like the Yankees or Giants lose. Because it's like just people you look up to. Yeah. Where it's like when I looked out to you guys, it's like, oh, the homies are getting like watched right now.
That connection.
Right. And like I remember 2013, the game, Pac-12 championship, and like one game away from the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
And dude, that shit just broke my heart because like, after a while, it was like, yo, like I want to fight the other dudes on the sideline because like they going at the homies, And but yeah, man, so beyond like racist stuff, obviously, was there like what's some of the wildest like trash talk you've heard from like other players and shit like that? Because I'm sure some wild shit goes on between the lines.
You'd be surprised that like for some reason like receivers and DBs don't really go at each other like that. That's the one thing. Yeah, it's the one thing people will be surprised about in college. Damn. I don't know about the pros, but it's usually like the front seven. It's usually like the niggas in the trenches that's where the testosterone needs to be, and that's where like the game is won.
Because nobody really be paying attention to them, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And we're just like we're tired and we're routes. We're talking to each other about what coverage, what route combination. It's not like a whole lot of time.
You trying to remember what route you running, making sure you're good.
Yeah, remember the game plan. Oh, trips over here. What do we think they're gonna do? Make a play. So it's a lot of respect from receivers and DBs. Just in general at the college level. And I think the D-line, there's a lot more talking, like people trying to go at Will Sutton because he was just a beast in there, causing havoc. Bro. Yeah, he's a monster, but he's the nicest guy off the field.
Dude, yeah, it's tight. What's funny is Will graduated in December of 13, and he graduated my boy Patty. And what's funny is his name's Will Sutton, my boy's Patty Scenarios. So they were like right after each other in the fucking list, right? And I was like, yo, I was like, yo, Will, congrats, bro. And he posed like as if I was gonna take a picture of him. And I was like, fam, I don't got a camera. And he just like, yeah, he just kept it moving. He's like, all right, and they just kept it moving. So yeah, he's funny as shit, bro. I mean, I will say, I still, humble brag. I be on the field every now and then, a couple media badges in there. And every now and then I'll just smoke with some of the other team. Some dude from Oregon last year. I got this LT that's it's Sparky, but like he's dressed as a ninja. And was it the Oregon player was running out the tunnel, and I just looked at him. I was like, "Yo, that shit's quiet. That shit's quiet." And he's like, "Word. Well, I like your tee. You got the best tee out here." I was like, "Word, we good." Then we dapped up, and I was like, "You compliment me, I fuck with you."
Yeah, reverse psychology, yeah,
right,
yeah. And then, like the rest of the game, I was like, "Man, fuck Oregon. Number 23 is cool though." Like,
that's funny.
But yeah, man, it's funny because like Ty and I, not to say like we're the perfect spectators, but we've definitely digressed and been like, listen, like if a professional or a college D1 athlete can't make a catch, then nobody else is gonna make that catch,
right.
So how do you? So I know like, and I think as I've gotten older, I've learned like the mental aspect of sports. So physically speaking, like if you drop the pass, boom, that's the physical part. But mentally, how do you contain yourself when people boo? As if like, man, fuck you. Y'all wouldn't have caught this either, right? So how do you like mentally compose yourself of just being like, all right, man, they just mad at the world, not just me.
Yeah, that's a good like question and perspective, because it's like everybody's human, so everybody kind of feels a certain way about it. Like I was saying, Ben Simmons cost me some money, and he was getting booed in Philly, right? And then he went on Twitter, said, keep that same energy. So I think a lot of people like that's how we felt, especially like. My first 2 years, we sucked before Erickson got fired, and Tempe was letting us have it. Y'all were booing. People were, y'all wasting my money, blah, blah, blah. But on the field, when you make like a play, you have so much adrenaline, and there's so much that goes into the game and focusing on executing the game plan and like trying to get your bread, which is what we say, right? There's scouts everywhere. So you're so into the game that you don't really have time to like think about that shit, to worry about it. You just gotta keep playing. And in football, it's hard anyway. So when something doesn't go your way, it's like flush that shit out the mental. You gotta like line back up and play. Especially myself playing DB, it's like you get beat. You still gotta get up and go cover the next route, stop the next play. So you can't really like worry about that shit. And you kind of get hardened through it. Like the more you experience it, the more you get used to it, the more you just deal with that shit.
I feel you. On some Earl Thomas shit, have you ever like lined up against a team you turned down an offer for, or a school? And then, like, you ball out in front of them and kind of show the coach, like, oh, word, like, you missed out. You thought, you know what I'm saying? Like
Utah, my senior year.
Because, get him. Speak on it.
Because when so Erickson got fired, and then we hired Todd Graham, and automatically it's like we're a better team, because he was just like, Erickson was kind of checked out, and Graham was like, hungry. He was trying to prove himself. So Dennis Erickson goes to Utah, and he's the offensive coordinator. And he recruited me. He recruited Alden Darby. He recruited Robert Nelson. And when we went to Utah, we kind of felt like the game plan was like disrespectful to us as DBs. We were like, at the time, we were second or third in the nation in pass defense, and he was like attacking us through the air type shit, or at least trying to. And so, yeah, that shit made me feel a certain type of way. And like Rob had a pick late in the game. I played really well, made good coverages. So did Alden. And at the end of the game, it was like they had one series to kind of like get back in the game, and it was 4th down, and I was playing press coverage against this white boy, and they dialed up like a fade on my side.
Wow.
And yeah. So that shit obviously was incomplete, but I'm looking at, I go back to the sidelines, and I'm looking at the press box, like trying to let him know, like, I'm looking at you, and I was like waving my hand at him, like, like fuck you type, like how dare you come, like try to come at me type shit. So that was
fade
like,
with the game on the line. Okay,
that's how. So I was like, I still love him. That's like my coach, but like I still kind of have that up against him. Like that's the type of mentality you have as a competitor. Is like, y'all gonna go at everybody but me today. So I was like kind of on some fuck you type shit.
Yeah, for sure. So then All right, man, that's funny as shit. So then, like recently, did you see that commercial of the NCAA, like the day in the life of an athlete?
I've seen a couple of them. I don't know exactly which one.
There's this one that everyone's clowning on Twitter. They lit up and everything. This dude, I swear, yo, your man wakes up, right, dancing for some reason. He wakes up, he's all happy
as fuck, bro.
Happy as fuck. His hair's already done. He's just like, I don't think
already sponged, bro. I don't know how he did it.
He hit the sponge.
Yeah, didn't even brush his teeth and nothing. So then he's just walking out, and then he's in class, and then someone's like showing him like a worksheet. He's like, "Oh, word!" And then 2 seconds, later, it pans away, and he's in the courtyard, just dancing, doing some sort of shit.
Hanging out with friends.
Yeah, hanging out with friends, and then it shows him on a basketball court taking one shot, and then it pans away, and then it goes him going to bed again. And it's just like they're just trying to depict, like, see how easy it is, you know?
Yeah, like it's fun.
That shit is a grind.
Yeah. So what was like you said, 6 to 9? That was Cam Tonizano.
Yeah.
But what was like what was the grind like during the football season?
It's the same. It's always a grind. And one of the things people don't realize about like college athletics and scholarships is that you have to be enrolled in school year round. Mm-hmm. So you don't get like a summer. We actually have to take summer classes. You have to be on scholarship. So if you're there 4 years, 5 years, 3 years, whatever, it's a year round thing. 12 months. That's
crazy. I didn't even know all that either.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
Exactly. And during season for us, it's like, okay, taping before practice starts at 6. So if you need tape treatment, you got to go in at 6. Offense and defense team meetings start at like 8. From there, you go to offense and defense separate in different rooms. Then you have an hour-long meeting. Then after that hour-long meeting, you go to position groups. And you spend another hour watching film of practice or watching film of who you're going to play. And then after that, you meet as a team one more time before practice. Then you go out in that hot-ass field, in that hot-ass sun.
Yeah.
Stare at the bubble because you ain't going to use that shit. You're going to be outside baking.
Damn.
And then you're out there for 3 hours practicing. And then, by that time, it's like 1 or 2, and then you still got to go to class.
I'm about to say, when do y'all go to class?
Yeah, then you're tired as hell. Then you got to go to class, and they send the GAs everywhere to make sure niggas are in class. Mm-hmm. Niggas go home and take naps and don't go to class because they're tired.
Yeah.
So they send the GAs around, like ICE, checking every classroom, trying to make sure who's there. So that shit is, the whole season. And then after season, you get, like 3 weeks off, and then everything starts back up, and we have spring ball. And spring ball is the same practice schedule. You practice 3 times a week, and then you scrimmage on Saturday morning. And obviously, scrimmage is on Saturday morning, so niggas ain't partying on Friday. So it's Saturday like, night. Yeah, exactly, yeah. So you only got like Saturday night to be free. You watch film Sunday morning, and then it's right back to it. So it's like that commercial is hilarious. I'm gonna look that shit up.
Yeah, I'll send it to you after. Yeah,
bro, I already knew that.
I'll post it in the when we drop the link and shit. I'll post it.
It's hilarious.
I went to my school didn't have a football team, but we had D1 basketball, and I had classes with the players. They were never in class. Yeah. It was they were just practicing, and I'm like, why even schedule the classes at the same time?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, I have a funny story about Tyler, dog. We took a class together. It was called Career Development, and it was on Thursdays, right? Tuesdays and Thursdays. And you guys had a class. Fun fact, you guys had a game against Utah on ESPN. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think it was in Utah. So, or no, my bad. You guys were playing Washington State. It was in Washington State on ESPN though, Thursday night game. And we were always boys, so we always just talk to each other in class. And after class, he's like, "Yo, wait up! I gotta tell the professor something." I was like, "All right, bet." And the professor's like, "By the way, our papers are due Thursday, so you got to be here Thursday to hand in the papers." And Selka's like, "Hey, we have a game Thursday night, so I'm not gonna be here. It's in Utah." And she goes, "Well, you need to think about what's more important, school or football." And he looks back at me, and I kind of shrug my shoulders like, I don't know what to say. And he looks back at her, and he goes, "Football is more important."
Like, bro, the only reason why he's there is because of football.
Football, yeah. Because he knows, all you got to do is go to your coach, go to one of the coaches, and they'll make some shit happen.
It was so funny
because the professor that don't know how this shit works.
Yeah,
she was like, if that's what you've decided, he's like, it was decided for me. Like
they cleared the schedule out a while ago.
Exactly.
The funniest part, he's like, it's gonna be on TV on ESPN. Like, like I gotta be there, man. Like,
that's funny.
But yeah, he was funny as shit, dude. That's how our friendship started. He used to ask me for paper like every day for a week, and I was like, bro, what the fuck you got in your bag? A football? And he sure as shit had a football in his bag. I was like, bro, you ain't shit. I'm Jesse. You know? And then we were just rocking from there, dude. And then yeah, I was boys with Vontez. And then even before that, bro, I actually took a couple years off. And I did a sales job that made me travel throughout. So I wasn't in school like that, but I was still I was on injured leave because I also got shoulder surgery. Or medical leave, whatever they called it. Medical freeze, whatever the fuck. Anyway, Keegan Herring and some of the other dudes like fuck, what's his name? Keegan Herring and not Demario, but yeah, no, it was Keegan. He was they lived in my apartment complex, right? And they were all under 21. So one time they rolled up and I was living with the dude that would buy them beer, and he wasn't home. He wasn't home one weekend, and they rolled up and they're like, yo, is John here? And I was like, nah, what's up? What y'all need? And they're like, oh, he usually buys us beer. And I was like, damn, sorry, fellas. And then they dipped. And then the door knocks again, and it's them again. They're like, yo, you over 21, fam? And I was like, yeah. And then I got them beer and shit. I was like, word, just don't tell Coach Everson, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And but anything like that. But it was funny, dude. But yeah, man, get into it. So after football, bro, what are you kind of doing right now, and what's the next chapter looking at?
Yeah, that's the catch-22 and like the $1 million question, I think, for like any athlete, or for like, I say anyone in general, but more specifically for athletes. Like you just said, like when you're an athlete, you feel like the main reason you're there is for the sport, is for football, and that's how like everything is kind of set up. It's kind of like pushes you in that direction to focus more on sports than on moving on professionally or what you're gonna do. So like, a lot of guys get lost. I think for me, it's just like, it was different because my family's like Nigerian. So it's like a different culture. It's like, be educated, do good in school, be successful type shit on that, like foreigner type shit. So for me, I kind of took education seriously. And my older brother has his own digital marketing agency in LA that's cleaning up, that services like all the legal firms in Los Angeles, doing like full digital marketing services for them. So I just kind of hopped in with him when I was done, knew I was going to do that shit, and then went to SC. So I'm a little bit of a trader. Went to SC and got my master's, got my MBA. Yeah, but I got the plug.
Congrats,
congrats. I got to keep it real. I got like the plug. My mom works for SC.
So you get to take the classes for free?
Yeah, I got that. So that shit, I'm getting my master's with people taking out like $60K plus, interest, nigga, for loans. I'm like, this is just like a quick little bag for me. So I went and did that shit. Went and did that. And yeah, now I'm just trying to like, I'm just kind of like trying to embrace everything. Like, still working with my brother, but it's not what I want to do long term, right? I want to do like my own shit, but I feel like on some deeper shit, it's like something that everybody goes through. Something that everybody thinks about. Like, what do you really want to do? What do you want to dedicate yourself to? It's like nobody's trying to sit in that fucking corporate office for 12 hours a day, nigga. Nobody's trying to do that shit.
No, so definitely off that. Yeah, I mean, I feel you on that. And it's funny, dude, because like I feel like a lot of part in life is like you think your identity is just based on what you're currently doing. So like at that time you thought you were a basketball player, then you turned into a football player, and now you're an SEO specialist or digital marketer. And it's kind of like, I feel like people get caught up on like defining themselves like for eternity. Like, yo, if I got to be a doctor, I'm a doctor.
Right.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
And you realize there's only a couple jobs that are like that. Most of the time it's just fluid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You got to be like adaptive. You got to like adapt. And I think like people let like society tell them when there's like, they make like society kind of push pressure on people to make them feel like life has to be like on a timer. Like you got to grow up and take like a serious.
Like you should get the house then. You should get married then. Have a baby now. Like nah, it's
just doing your own, like letting that shit come as it come, like let it come as it goes, and just go with the flow. Like it's kind of like a river, and just see where life kind of fucking takes you. Instead of trying to. So I think like our generation is a little bit different. I think we switch it up. We're like hella adaptable. Everybody's kind of got their own side hustle. Everybody's kind of got their own plan of escaping from that like corporate structure type bullshit. So
yeah,
it's just like you said, you just gotta like embrace it, embrace every day, embrace the challenge of finding out like what you're gonna be, what you're gonna do, and just let life kind of come to you.
for real.
Yeah. I mean, with that, dude, we always talk about how, like, we were joking about before about, like, racist fans or people that get on you for being just an athlete or whatever it is. Like, we kind of try to explore, like, the human side of an athlete besides just, like, oh, the fact that he just, beats people up or whatever the sport may be. So I think you get that a lot too, though, trying to identify, like, yo, there's more to me than just the athleticism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More than just, more than an athlete, not to be cliche, but there's definitely things that, you try to expand on, like, and like you said, you're into digital marketing, but then also you're, trying to question like what you want to do. And I think the cool thing of what makes me feel good is knowing that like not anybody kind of has it all figured out.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Even the people who maybe look like it, they don't know what the hell's going on.
Hey, yep.
And the people that don't, they spend a lot of time trying to make it look like they do have it, But I don't know. So yeah, with that, man, appreciate you coming to the pod, man, and spending the time with us. I know you said you got some family shit going on soon. Usually around this time, we do song of the week, burn, 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 with a couple of songs.
What's up?
A couple of songs. The way I do it is I do old school, like kind of like a theme that's been throughout the week, a song that could be like the soundtrack of the week, like whatever, like the most hot, pressing topic I've been pushing. And for this week, it was the fact that I walked the fuck out of Low Load's Chicken and Waffles with my chest because I don't mind. So today for song of the week, we going old school from Immature. I don't mind.
Okay, wow. Okay. The way I usually do this one is, I'm out here checking on the new music out in these streets. We had some new Anderson .Paak drop.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a big Anderson .Paak fan. I was probably the minute I listened to Malibu, and I went back and listened to some of his old shit. But then he dropped, what's it called? The last album he dropped, not the Ventura, not the one he just dropped, the one before that shit disappointed me. Yeah, like it's some songs on there that are good. The one with Kendrick is good, Tense. The one he got on there with Cole is good. The one he got on there with Q-Tip is good. But like overall, from like what I wanted, it wasn't what what I expect from Pac. So like he dropped a new album, which kind of tells you like how he probably felt about the album. He already dropping a new one 6 months later. So Ventura, that shit's fire. Every song kind of hits. He got different shit for different moods on there. So I'm glad that he came back with something good. I definitely get that, up there 4 or 5 bucket hats. So definitely check that out. My song of the week though is my boy Lil Uzi Vert, Sanguine Paradise. He came back with some shoulder shimmy music. So yeah, so definitely be out on the lookout for that. Check that out. Hopefully his album drops soon. I don't know what the fuck's going on with his label, so that'd be cool.
They got him in one of those 360 deals. That's what happened. He just figured it out. That's how the music industry gets you.
Yeah, it sucks because it's like so many people are on that shit. Because you only hear the outliers. People say, "Oh, I own all my masters." Like, which is like 21 Savage. That's kind of wild, but like, and like Nipsey had all the rights to his shit. But most people be like, they just trying to get out of the hood, so they're like, "You trying to sign me? You give me a bonus?"
Advance.
Yeah, like I bet. So that sucks. That because like, I mean, Uzi been big for like 2-3 years now, so he probably like, the checks ain't hitting the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
so, yeah, I get it. He pissed.
That song do go hard though.
Yeah, for sure. I'll give y'all an honorary song of the week just for being a guest.
Sure.
I appreciate it. Had a lot of fun. I guess it's got to be Nipsey. I'll say Hustle and Motivate.
Great
that was
song.
My song. That shit got me through college, got me through days of camps. So obviously being from SoCal, Nipsey, what happened to Nipsey is kind of super fucking unfortunate. And
terrible.
That shit felt like, for people out here, it felt like you lost a cousin. That's how it really hit everybody when that news broke on a Sunday. It didn't really feel real. So it's kind of like, I don't know, it feels like it was like a moment in hip hop culture, in urban society, where we kind of got to look internally and wag our finger at that type of shit and be like, we got to stop killing each other. We got to like show each other a little bit more love and not let shit escalate like that. So that it's got to be Nipsey for me. It's Hustle and Motivate.
Yeah, man, appreciate that. And I definitely didn't know how big he was until kind of after he passed, and like I didn't know he was much of an influence because, like I said, I'm New York to the bone, bro. So I'm LA ignorant, as I often say. And
Yeah,
you
I think
know,
I said it last episode. It's kind of like real, like when real recognize real. So like when a real nigga like that kind of gets hit the
Yeah.
way that he did, everybody is like, "Yo, like that dude was, you know what I mean? He was out here giving back. He was always
Yeah.
genuine. Like you know what I'm saying? For somebody to take him out, it's just like that's fucked up, you know."
but yeah, man. Other than that, dude, we appreciate you coming out. We also want to let the buckets know, man. For everyone, I was telling y'all I was indecisive and I didn't know about paying for my bill because I was antsy and anxious. And shouts to the sponsor, Sunday Scaries, man. We got gummies that will alleviate the anxiety that everybody's facing, bro. So just wanted to.
We got to do these sponsors early on in the pod.
Yeah, totally forgot, but yeah, we got a new sponsor, bro. We gotta plug them, so we're
Yeah,
trying to
yeah. I'm gonna check them
massage
out.
them in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but yeah,
Check them
definitely
out.
check out sundayscaries.com. When you go there, use the promo code Bucket Up, you can get 10% off of the gummies to ease your anxiety, ease your Sunday scaries, all the good shit.
Yeah, bro. It's like the idea of like, fuck, Monday's coming and like Sunday's not that long enough, so you get the anxiety. But if you eat one of these gummies, bro, you just be cooling.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to like superimpose that to the front of the pod.
Yeah, it's whatever. But anyway, bro, again, 81 volume of the Bucket Up podcast is in the books, bro. For the kid JB, for DJ Buttersoft, for special guests, Osahan Irabor, number 24. Used to be what, number 18, and then you switched it up.
Yep. Look at
Yeah,
you
see,
doing your research.
I know my shit, you know what I'm saying? But I appreciate you coming out, man. But for the buckets, for the Bucket Hat boys, we are out.
I appreciate
Shit.
that. All right, Ty.
Thanks, man.
Later, bro.
Okay, you want to do the run back?
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
That was a good ass spot, by the way.
Yeah.
Very good.
And you're such a good personal person. Like you've never met the dude, and it acts like you've known the dude for a while. You know, like
You just gotta get it. That dude was mad cool though, for sure.
yeah, I know, but that's what I'm saying, dude. Like I would never, even if it was somebody wild. I'm like, yo, as a Trump supporter, like you'd be good at like, not that I would bring one on, but you know what I'm saying.
No, I got you.
But yeah, good shit. You're a likable guy, Ty.
There we go. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. You obviously have to be friends with such cool people. Let me see. All right, so how you want to do the rundown? You want to just say we bring on a guest? We never done this. We never done rundown with a guest, which is wild.
No, we could just be like, episode 81. Yo, JB found another guest, or we found another guest, some shit, and then the second title or the second thing, movie review. Next, Netflix movie review. Osahan tells us about ASU football.
Yeah, so hold on. When we go on today's episode of the pod, Jesse has another wild restaurant experience.
Yeah.
And 2, we review Ty reviews Little, more bullshit on Netflix, and then the last one and also we got a guest today, and then you can kind of roll into whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we're gonna be like we brought it, and then
or you can say like we brought on a homie to talk about ASU football, life as a college athlete, and shit like that.
Yeah, I could say like
hold on, let's see.
But like we were saying, like, because the life part, we can be like, we talked about, life is not an eternal. You know what I'm saying? Like, nothing in life is permanent. B or some shit like that. Like life is because remember we were talking about how he was just a football player when he played football.
Oh yeah. I know. I was just like, because I'm like, we have to tell people that we have a guest, but like, should we do that before we tell them the topics or after we tell them the topics?
Yeah, just day before, just like we brought him in before we started talking about that shit.
All right, so yeah. So wait, so the first thing be like, we brought on we have a guest. We brought on, how you spell his name?
Oshahan. Oshaon. Osahan. No. Fuck. Hold on, it's on my phone.
Well, you know how to say it though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's fine. What do you know how to say? I got Osahan.
Oshahon. IRA.
I mean,
ERR. Yeah.
How you say his last name?
Irabor.
Erebor. So yeah, we can say on today's episode of Bucket Up Pod, we brought on Osahan Erebor to talk life as a big recruit.
Or why don't you say life before and after football?
Oh yeah, life before and after college football. I want to say college football.
Yeah.
So we review Little. I said the movie Little.
Now we have a homie in LA too.
Yeah. Hold on, where am I? Okay, so yeah, I'll do on today's episode of Bucket Up Podcast. You say the foot him part, and then I can say I'll review the movie Little, and then you can say I had another wild restaurant experience. And I'll just say Anderson .Paak's new album and more.
Cool. I don't see it though.
I'm gonna put it in right now.
Oh.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
On today's episode of the Bucket Up Podcast,
We brought on the homie Osahan Erebor to talk about the life before and after college football.
I reviewed the movie Little.
I had another wild restaurant experience.
Anderson .Paak's new album Ventura, and much, much more. All right, cool.